Hello, America. Welcome to the Case for Recovery. My name is Alexander Francis Xavier Matulowicz. As one postman told me, boy, what a test. Have you ever had to recover from your own name? This program seeks to make 3 points. First, we're all eligible for recovery. Second, the way is simple, basic, vanilla, generic. We don't have to reinvent the wheel. Third, I've been prepared for facilitating this process my entire life. Point 1, that we're all eligible. I declare out of the authority of my own experience as former spiritual director of the Church of Recovery. We're all recovering from something. That was our motto. Years of interviews, conversations, and meetings has shown unanimous agreement to this proposed truth. We're all our own worst enemy, in one way or another. How has the problem manifested? The statistics are frightening, but real. Textbooks suggest 8 million alcoholics in this country. Others say up to 10% of the population, a staggering 20 million plus. News reports in Massachusetts alone show upwards of 50% of certain municipal fire departments are staffed by substance abusers, either active in addiction or active in recovery. Millions more are ensnared by drugs. Many drugs, like ecstasy, didn't even exist years ago when I was in college trying marijuana. Programs like weed now paint suburban marijuana sellers as mainstream. We're shocked at the stories of how it's easier for a high school student to get a bag of heroin than a six-pack. The alcohol and drug problem alone has had such an impact that we could see elevating recovery to mainstream just to accommodate that. With psychologists declaring that those who are addicted affect the lives of 6 people, the math doesn't lie. Take all the addicted people times 6, you've got the entire population. But the case for recovery goes far, far beyond that. It is imperative that we expand our thinking to just actually see what each of us may need to recover from. Gambling used to be something you did in Las Vegas or with a bookie. Now you get exasperated in line at the convenience store while everyone in front of you is playing their number, buying scratch tickets, or getting their weekly lottery fix. Along with this proliferation has come the inevitable social cost. In 1958, elderly pensioners weren't blowing their Social Security checks on one-armed bandits. High school kids didn't dream of making a fortune endorsements for the World Poker Tour. Governments now have a vested interest in promoting gambling, even though they acknowledge the cost through addiction is staggering. Obesity is at the danger level for our youth, we're told. The health statistics scream warnings. Perhaps they can be reached and responded to in the privacy of their own living room by walking through these steps. Lives are being lost, folks, and casualties are mounting. All too often it's a friend, loved one, or co-worker. Dysfunction is mainstream, seen throughout the workplace. Then why not recovery? But we must go beyond. Depression is mounting as people fear another economic crash. Who isn't in need of help to deal with that? OCD used to be called eccentricity or superstition. It's now a disorder manifested by millions. Unmanageable lives are surfacing for people unable to deal with life on life's terms. There are as many reasons as there are people. Maybe you're recovering from a bad date, a lost job, unemployment running out, the real estate busts, corporate downsizing, a hangover, an addicted mother, too many trips to the track, your recent divorce, your parents' divorce, the trauma of your childhood, or whatever else. To be sure, mark this, we're all recovering from something. Can you identify? I'm a recovering Catholic. I'm a recovering grammar school student, recovering high school student, recovering altar boy, recovering adult child of an alcoholic mother. I'm recovering from an inferiority complex, as well as a recovering egomaniac. I'm recovering from being a lawyer, an Amway distributor, an alcoholic, a marijuana smoker, a poor son, a spiritually dead part of the problem. I'm fighting daily cigarettes, anorexic tendencies, overdosing on TV, panic, and fear. I've even had to struggle with certain computer addictions. How many millions are there right now? Are you there right now? I've watched youth come to meetings to get relief from addiction to video games. The papers last month said new surveys show that there's a tremendous amount of computer addiction. Can you see how this is true? We're all recovering from something. The cost in waste to human life cry out for something to be done. And that is part of the total eligibility. Right before my eyes, I've seen America lose its sense of self. America needs to recover its Americanism. What made us great was unique. Our greatness needs to be rekindled. We need to recover that concern for each other and the thought of the general welfare that commentators marveled at years ago. We need to recover our optimism, indeed the audacity of hope. If it takes a village, it should at least be one thinking clearly. If a strong national will is a prerequisite to face our foes, terrorist or otherwise, then a united front of patriotism based on truth, justice, and love needs recovery. Whether we qualify for some individual 12-step group or not, we're all part of a human family that needs healing from the scars of war, division, unrest, and economic injustice. For many, the call to walk through recovery is a patriotic duty. The best domestic defense is a renewal of purpose to form a strong national will, to prepare us for all that we face, whether it be from an axis of evil to the simple, bitter truth of personal dysfunction. My prepared remarks have ended. I wish to speak to you personally about more important issues. Are you suffering from abuse? Have you been abused? Are you suffering in some way from something that brings you down, that causes you to go to the doctor, need shock treatments, need medication? You're a person in recovery, and like just all the rest of us in America, you're in need of help. Where can that help come from? In 1935, Dr. Bob Smith and Bill Wilson, a businessman, sat down with some of their friends and came up with 12 steps of recovery. It was originally designed to deal with the issue of alcoholism. They dealt with low-bottom drunks, they're called, people who are on the street, drinking out of the brown paper bag, checking into the detox hospitals, and etc. Over 73 years later, we have a completely different situation. It used to be that you'd hide your mother drinking at breakfast. Now you show her on The Surreal Life. Then you'll see her later in celebrity rehab. Dysfunction has gone mainstream, folks, and we need something to equip ourselves to deal with it. The steps of recovery that started in a church basement have moved throughout the decades to the place to where now they're right before us and used as part of scripts on TV shows. Those steps of recovery are available for us to address these issues as we walk America through the steps of recovery. Last but not least, why am I here making this plea to you to walk with me through these steps? Who are you? Well, my best qualification for being the man for the occasion is the fact that at the age of 50, I was in reform school. I was sent as a part of a probation to a place called Spectrum House that I came to find was in Westboro, Mass, on the campus of what had been the first reform school in the United States of America. Can you picture this? You're sitting there in the cafeteria on a Sunday, and you're waiting for your 80-plus-year-old parents to come and visit their only surviving child, their number one son. And my best thinking had put me in reform school. Over the last 6 years, I think I've made a bit of a comeback. And over the course of 56 years, acquired enough experience to be the man qualified and capable to lead us in this adventure. I've had to recover from a great many things, and I'm still struggling with many more. But I do know this: I'm unblackmailable. There's nothing that could be brought out about me that I couldn't face. I feel like the old Errol Flynn movie. Much could be said of me, a great deal of it true. But even my enemies know that I'll not invent the truth to evade the consequences of my own actions. I'm more than willing to sacrifice my anonymity, my privacy, and let people know of my problems in an effort to get you, in the privacy of your living room, to go through these steps of recovery to help address your problem and your issue. Coming soon, right after this, is a program called Life is Worth Living. I hope you'll enjoy it. Thank you very much.